When someone says something is built like a tank, they're talking about this smartphone specifically. This Tank 5 is about the same price as an iPhone 17, but has 5 times the battery life, 4 times the thickness, and a literal built-in 2K resolution projector beam that shines out of the top, projecting big screen movies onto any surface. But we'll get to that more in a second. Today we're going to find out if the Tank 5 is actually ready, or not, for the apocalypse. Right out of the box, we see a black guitar pick for some reason, a white USB-C cable, and a 120-watt charging brick. The phone itself is an absolute unit, with huge fan grills on either side to help keep the projector cool. Even with the massive inlets, the Tank 5 still has an IP69 water-resistant rating. And it'll be very interesting to see how they accomplish that from the inside here in a few seconds. But first, the scratch test. The Tank 5 has 2 screen protectors. A blue tinted screen protector comes off first, and here's a size comparison between the Tank 5 and an iPhone 17 Pro. Basically twins. The Tank 5 has a few perks that the iPhone can only dream of, like a built-in 120 lumen camping light that can also strobe for emergencies, incoming flash warning. There's also a night vision camera, and of course a projector up top, which we'll get to in a second. I'll peel off the permanent clear plastic screen protector next. What's cool about this screen protector is that it's inlaid down between the frame rails of the phone, so no part of the glass can ever touch the ground during a drop, which should help out quite a bit during the end of times. But just for curiosity's sake, let's see what the screen is made from underneath all that plastic. If there was more plastic under here, the screen would start scratching at level 2 or 3, but if it's glass, like what we're seeing now, it would start scratching at a level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7. We haven't seen a sapphire screen in a really long time, but sapphire would start scratching at a level 8 or 9. We have a front-facing 32 megapixel hole punch selfie camera protected by glass, and a long thin plastic earpiece grill, which won't ever be falling out on its own. Obviously, what makes the Tank 5 such a tank is that it's got a built-in exoskeleton made from armored metal plates and rubber on all the sides. Permanent protection. We have the fingerprint scanning power button and large intake fan grill over here on the right, with lots of black rubber and shiny silver metal. Up at the top though is where things start getting incredibly interesting. We have an IR blaster, so you can change the channels on the TV, I Am Legend style. Then we have a 4-meter laser rangefinder. Not so great for sniper shots, but still good for measuring stuff without having to bring a tape measure. And of course, we have the 2K resolution 220 lumen DLP projector. The only thing that would make this even more perfect for the apocalypse is if we had a hand-removable SIM and SD card tray to store movies on when the grid goes down. And look at that. Perfection. Now, I did have my doubts about the quality of this projector and its brightness at night. Here on my brightly lit desk, you can't see all that much, but as soon as you go outside at night, the Tank 5 can throw up a big screen image as large as a garage door, no problem. It's actually kind of insane. Plus, with the laser autofocus and automatic keystone correction, that's where it squares up the image on the wall all by itself, the operation is pretty foolproof. Not gonna lie, I am rather impressed. Even walking down the street, I can be watching jerry-rig teardowns on a 50-inch flat screen hovering right above the sidewalk, as one often does. No iPhone can do that. If streaming or watching movies is your thing, you probably already know that sometimes you can get locked out of your streaming accounts if you travel outside of your own country. One quick little trick from today's sponsor NordVPN is that it's still possible to access all your geo-locked content with a VPN. NordVPN has 9,500 VPN servers in more than 224 different locations. They can keep your data encrypted while on strange Wi-Fis and protected with an antivirus that also blocks scams, phishing attempts, and even ads. Plus, NordVPN can monitor and sweep the internet for your sensitive information that might have gotten leaked out onto the web, like your address, phone number, or social security. NordVPN is all about being in control, and you can try it out today with a 30-day money-back guarantee on up to 10 devices at a time. While the projector is running, there is a substantial amount of air flowing through the internal ducts, very similar to some of the gaming phones we've seen, except for this one is much louder with much more airflow. You can stay anonymous online with NordVPN and get 4 months extra with my link, nordvpn.com/jerryrig. Peace of mind is totally worth a few bucks a month, and that link is down in the description. Once the apocalypse brings down the grid though, you'll probably want to make sure you have your movies saved to the SD card. The left side of the phone has our volume button, fan output vent, and programmable buttons for the camping and strobe light on the back. The bottom of the phone has our lanyard hook, so you can attach the brick to a string and wallop some zombies with it. And inside the watertight flap, we have a USB-C port and a headphone jack. Pretty essential for stealth supply runs. What's cool about the cameras here on the back of the phone is that they can take pictures in absolute darkness. One is a 50 megapixel normal main camera, then a 50 megapixel telephoto. Then we have the 50 megapixel night vision camera. The row of infrared LEDs are here to illuminate the night vision sensor so it can take pictures without a visible flash. Yeah, the pictures look a little nightmarish, but it does indeed work. The back of the phone is metal, and the material over the camping light is plastic, with of course copious amounts of black rubber surrounding every corner for better drop protection. Making our way to the screen, the Tank 5 spared no expense with a 6.7-inch 1440p, 120Hz, 3000 nit AMOLED display that lasted for about 25 seconds before going green and not recovering. It probably would have lasted a bit longer, but we did remove that plastic exterior layer. And finally, the bin test, which, yeah, you already know. The biggest downside of buying the Tank 5 is that you'll also need to buy a better belt so that your pants stay up when it's in your pocket. But with a 5-day battery life, maybe that's a trade-off you're willing to make. Either way, now it's time to analyze the Tank 5 from the inside and see how they managed to cool that 220 lumen projector. Grabbing my smartphone toolkit, I'll need a couple of these bits. There's a series of T5 screws holding down the armored metal panels to the sides of the phone. With the panel off, we can see the hexagonal protective grate opening for the internal cooling fan. And using that same T5 bit, I'll remove the other armored panel from the other side. Then I can start pulling out the 12 additional screws holding down the back panel. With those unscrewed, the entire back panel can be pulled away, revealing a massive red gasket that, when clamped by the screws, keeps the tank IP68 and IP69 watertight. Just like we saw inside of that BeatBot pool cleaning robot, this phone is definitely made to survive aquatic plunges. And you might be like, but hey Jerry, what about those two massive openings for the internal cooling fan? And I'm glad you asked. With the phone turned off, we can remove quite a few more screws. Philip said this time around. The lower loudspeaker can pull away. The Tank 5 can reach 97 decibels, but there does not appear to be any balls inside. I'll lift up the camera lens plate. This exposes the motherboard and the camera sensors. I'll unplug the camping LED light board just like a little Lego, along with the 2 battery plugs and the motherboard extension ribbons. The motherboard herself has 4 more black screws holding her in place, and I imagine the projector is somewhere mounted behind it. However, the 50 megapixel main camera does not have OIS, neither does the night vision camera nor the 50 megapixel telephoto. It is cool though that each of the processing chips on the board have their own little corresponding thermal pad, allowing the mid-frame to turn into a heatsink. The mid-frame heatsink is nothing though compared to the copper heatsink for the projector, which we can now see peeking out from behind the mid-frame. With that metal mid-frame unscrewed, it lifts up with the 17,600 mAh battery. That's more capacity than 3 Galaxy S26 Ultras put together. This battery can power the projector for 5 hours straight, or the phone alone for about 5 days. It's a rather impressive unit. Behind the battery and mid-frame is the most copper we've ever seen inside of a smartphone. 62 grams worth of copper to be exact, enough to make 1,033 pennies. May they rest in peace. The projector module comes out with that copper plate, still bolted in place. But now we can see the cooling fins attached to the copper plate and heat pipe that sit down inside of the air duct. This allows the air passing through the phone to cool down the fins, which cools down the whole unit, all of which is made watertight by another large red rubber gasket. Thumbs up for cool engineering. The turbofan looks very similar to what we see inside of the Red Magic gaming phones, just quite a bit bigger this time around. My favorite part of this whole teardown though is what we find inside of the projector itself. See, the projector unit is a 220 lumen 2K DLP projector, meaning it has separate light sources for the red, green, and blue lasers. So when the lasers themselves shine in through the outer housing, the internal electronics combine the light using mirrors and lenses to create the image that shoots out the front of the projector module. You can see the light sources on the boards that shine in through those outer edges. I'm pretty impressed. The Tank 5 appears to be a very valuable, well-rounded sidekick for all kinds of apocalyptic scenarios. Nice work. The discount link for NordVPN is down in the description. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We are super close to 10 million, and thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.